Welcome to another episode of Real BMX Racing, the podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Wrenchman Racing, Wrenchman Wheel Builds, and Recycles Bike Shop. Today we have somebody that's been on the scene for a while now. He has been ripping it up from day one. Right now he holds the Rock #1 plate, the NAG #1 plate, and the National #1 plate. Welcome, Drew Polk. Drew, what up?
How's it going?
What's going on, Drew?
Not much.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, all right, first thing we want to do is we want to jump in, ask you some questions, and then hopefully that way we can get to know you a little bit better and see what the 23 season is going to look like for you. All right, Shannon's going to start us off with the first set of questions, and then we're going to be all over the place, so we'll just be going back and forth.
All right.
So let me ask you this. How did this all start for you?
BMX. All right.
Yes.
I started racing motorcycles when I was 4 years old. And so I did that for a few years. And then we had a family friend who kind of got us into it when I was almost 8. And then after a couple months, we went full BMX. And then never really looked back after that. We really enjoyed it. So did some nationals here and there. It wasn't anything crazy. And then we moved over here to Indiana in 2017. And that's kind of when I started taking it more serious. Got my first national win in 2018. And then made my first Grands Main in 2018. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. Just got better and better. So we've been setting bigger and bigger goals each year. And after chasing your dreams, getting your goals done, you kind of have no option but to make progress. So it's been good.
Have you played any sports when you were in school as well, or was it just all straight up BMX?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I played a lot of different sports. I mainly did basketball and baseball, and I did cross country throughout middle school. I played like a little bit of flag football, and I tried track for a little bit. Got hurt mid-season from BMX. But yeah, I've kind of tried out a bunch of different sports. So I've just been like an athletic kid my whole life. So it's been good.
Okay. What do you think that you would be doing if you didn't choose BMX?
See, that's a good question. I would like to say motocross because I mean that's kind of where my family all started. My dad, he works for like a motorcycle business, so my family's kind of it's had its roots there. But I think I like baseball a lot, and I think track running's pretty cool too. But I don't know. I was born a racer, so it would probably be something to do with racing. Maybe even like drag racing. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. So
nice.
Yeah.
So what do you like most about BMX?
I like the jumps. I think any BMX racer that does it has to enjoy it because I tried out track cycling a little bit in college, and it was just completely different, and I did not enjoy it at all because it's just flat. So I didn't realize how much I loved jumps until I tried that out, and then I really like the tactics to it, like with turning and then like body placement and where you can go block people, stuff like that. So I just like all of it. We're a unique sport. We don't just need power. We don't just need skill. We need a bit of both. So I just really like the dynamic of BMX.
Have I seen you downhill slalom before? Do dual slalom with mountain bikes?
I missed that first question. But
I've seen.
Yeah, I did some downhill and dual slalom in for collegiate racing. I did one season.
Okay.
So
nice.
It was fun. Definitely a lot different, and kind of messed me up a bit on my race bike. So I didn't do that this year, but yeah, it was fun to do it.
So, new season, new year, does that mean new frame?
Yeah, so I actually have my 2 frames right over there. I got some throwdowns here. We're just waiting to get some parts to build it up. I didn't have it ready for Vegas, but I'll definitely have it ready for Houston. So it'll be exciting to get hop on some of those and see how they ride.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. I see what did they join together, Throwdown and your team?
Yeah, so LSG, we partner with Throwdown. So That's now like the Throwdown Factory team. So it's been really good working with the new owners. I know Larry Bowman, he's been the main guy, and he's helped me out a lot already so far and given me a lot of support. So, yeah, I'm excited for this year and hopefully beyond just this year.
Awesome.
Are your new frames carbon?
These are not. They're working on a carbon, but just right now they're doing the aluminums, and I'm just they're still in like testing, so he told me to just try these out and just like beat them up and see how they work. So we're going to ride them for a bit.
That's the green light right there.
And then
Nice.
once he gets some feedback and once he knows exactly what he wants out of the frames, he'll probably go ahead with the carbon.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So do you have a different mindset going into this season than you did last season?
I think so, a little bit. Even if I don't want to, it's kind of hard because I've kind of accomplished what I've wanted to get out of the amateur class. So I haven't really had the same like drive for the USABMX racing as I had last year. I think it's really cool with the new Pro-Am class. That'll be fun to race and get me in there with some faster guys. But I think my main goal for the year is the UCI like World Cup stuff. So I'm really fired up for that, and even more so than last year. But I think with the USABMX side of things, I'm a little more laid back and kind of just using it to keep myself sharp. But the main focus is on the international scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
When are you turning pro?
I don't have a definite answer for that one. If I do really well in the World Cups, like in the summer, I might go mid-season. But if they don't go as well as I hope, then I might just stay amateur the rest of the year. And then just for sure next year, no later than 2024. So, yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to start training for like the Olympics and everything, or did you already start doing that? Or?
The Olympics is kind of a stretch. It really depends on how the first half of this year goes on the World Cups. If I can do really, really well, I can go elite and then maybe have a shot at it. But I don't know. I'm kind of just going with my goals, working hard as I normally do. And if the time comes and that's a possibility, then yeah, I'm going to go for it. But I'm still pretty young, and I'm on the younger side for it. But definitely for the next Olympics, 2028, that'll be for sure a big goal for me. So we'll see. We'll see if 2024 is a possibility.
Okay.
So, as far as size, like I'm only 5'8". I stood next to you, and I don't know how tall you are. How tall are you?
I'm like 5'9".
Are you? All right. Do you feel like there's a disadvantage for being shorter than some of the other riders that might be 6 feet or over?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a disadvantage, especially when you go out to like the European tracks and like overseas. A lot of the tracks are a lot deeper, and being short makes it really tough to manual those things. And even just like the additional 4 or 5 inches, it can make a big difference when the guys can manual stuff and I just physically cannot reach it. So it's more so over there when the tracks are super technical. But
okay,
I know like Neek, his size almost hurts him a little bit because getting out of the gate's harder for him. But I would definitely take the size if I had the option. So
right. Do you have your own trainer?
Yeah, I work with Donovan Long. He's the owner of LSG. That's Nick Long's dad. So he's been in the sport a long time. He knows what he's doing, and he's led me in the right directions time and time again. So he's been a very crucial part of my success, and he's helped a lot with like the international stuff because I'd be like a lost puppy without him. I would not know what to do. So he's helped a lot, even just with information.
So he's got like a regimen already lined up for you. Like, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
This is the plan.
He's taught me a lot and kind of opened my eyes to a new training perspective that I never even thought about. So, yeah, it's been really good.
Okay.
And let me ask you, was there ever a time that you maybe lost a race so bad, or you got injured and you just wanted to throw in the towel? It was like, this is not for me. I don't want to do this anymore.
I would say back when I was younger, I think around like the age of 10, I was kind of on the decline, and it almost looked like I wasn't going to be racing much longer. But since 2017, and I started taking it serious, not really. Every time I've reached my goal, so I've kind of just had that drive to set bigger and bigger goals, and I'm not going to stop until I reach them. And fortunately, I haven't had too bad of crashes. I've had a couple minor breaks, but there hasn't been anything that set me out for a long time. So haven't had any of those yet, which I'm sure they will come. Dealing with a couple right now from Vegas, but again, they're nothing serious. So, yeah, I haven't really had any of those thoughts. I think losing just makes me want to push harder and accomplish my goals even more. And I feel like even winning makes me want to push harder. So I'm never really unmotivated, and it seems like everything just makes me want to push harder. So
I think
so you did get injured in Vegas.
A little bit, yeah. I hurt my knee a bit on the first crash, ankle on the second crash, and then hit my head pretty good on the third crash. But I seem to race fine even with those injuries, so it's not going to hold me back much. But definitely taking a little rest to make sure they heal back properly.
Gotcha.
There you go. How did you come back mentally from the injuries? Like, for you to be able to pop up and be like, all right, yep, I'm good. Like, I can get back out there and do it again. Nothing, just like, how did you mentally prepare yourself to conquer the fear of, oh, crap?
Yeah.
You know?
I think this happens a lot with us athletes, but sometimes when you're out hurt, it almost seems like you come back even, like, faster. I think that just comes from being away from the sport for those 4, 6, however long it is, weeks. Just being out that long, it makes you like want it even more, and it makes you miss it. So you come back and you're super hungry for it. So I only had like I broke my wrist in 2020, and it didn't seem to really set me back at all. And then I had a shoulder injury before Bakersfield last year, which I didn't do that great at Bakersfield, but I came out even harder at Grand. So I haven't really had an issue with those, and I don't know. I think it just makes me want it more.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. When you're on the gate and like the moto before you, there's a crash, and now you're on the gate and you have to sit there and wait for however long, does that mess with you?
Not exactly. There'll be some times where you're like getting yourself super amped up, and when they stop it for a while, it tends to, like, it's almost like the nerves kind of set a little bit, which isn't exactly what you want. You kind of want to be amped up before the gate. But I've known there's been a couple times where I've almost been on the gate and been not ready, and then having that little extra like gap, it let me like sit and think and be like, all right, like you got to go 100% just this 30 seconds. And I ended up like winning those laps, and it felt like a little reset that I needed. But usually,
okay.
I don't know, I try to just not even think about it. And it's hard to have that little break because sometimes your mind wants to wander, but you just have to really stay focused on staying present and what you need to do to get the job done. So I don't try to let it affect me too much.
It's good advice right there. So who's your biggest fan at home?
At home? Like as in
your family?
I'd say just both my parents. It's just us three in the house and then my pets. Well, I guess just my one pet, my dog. But they're my biggest fans. They at Grands, it was pretty cool to have both of them there because usually they don't both go to nationals. It'll be just one or the other if they do go. Yeah. So it was cool to have both of them at Grands, and it was pretty special after the whole thing. So
I was going to ask you about that. How was that special moment when you were just like, this is it, and you got the number one and all that stuff? How did it feel getting all that and having your parents?
Yeah, it was super cool. Crossing the line, my mom was the first one there, and I gave her a hug. And then my dad didn't realize I got the title, but when I got out of the fence, he like gave me a big hug, and it was just cool having both of them there, and really having everybody there because everybody that you're surrounded with is going to be there. So I had my parents there, my coach there, my team, my girlfriend, like everybody there. So it's super cool.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very special event. Like even the world stuff, not everyone's going to be there. So having every single person there is like really cool.
Who's one of your favorite riders to watch? Let's start off with male.
Yeah. I think I kind of have two. Well, I guess three, really. I like watching Cam Wood because he's so young. He's pretty inspirational for being as good as he is at the age he is, because a lot of people say like you can't do it young, but clearly he's proven that wrong. And I think the other two, I really like Nick Kimmin. His videos are really cool. I like the way he rides. And I also like Sylvain Andre a lot. He's super consistent. He's a very good rider. I look up to him a lot. So those three, all in different aspects. So they're all really talented and good people.
Okay. And what about female?
Female, I think I like Elise a lot. She works hard. Nobody really works as hard as she does. And then Laura Smolders is also another really hard worker. Both of those two, and there's a reason why they're the best in the class. They're both very hardworking and very skilled at what they do.
Have you ever lined up with any of them, like out there in practice, just to see what you got against them?
Yeah, with the elite men, I trained with Cam Wood for a couple weeks at his house. So I got to ride with him a little bit before he crashed. And then I've ridden with them a few times, mostly off the big hill, and I'm not too far off, so it's good to measure myself with those guys. And then female-wise, I remember my first time on the 8-meter at Houston. I got in next to Mariana Pajón, she's a 2-time gold medalist, and I was expecting to just get blown out of the water, and I was like 16, but I was ahead of her, so there's definitely a little difference between the men and women, but I really respect what all of them do, so.
Okay. I mean, are there any other females that you like watch riding?
Yeah, I think really skilled girls, and even my girlfriend, I think she's really fun to watch. She's one of the most talented females on a bike, Mackenzie Gayhart. So I even like watching her. She has more skill than I do, so it's kind of crazy. But yeah, she's really stylish.
watching all you guys is pretty dope out there too.
Yeah, it's good.
So when you're not BMX racing and you're not training, what do you normally do in your downtime?
Yeah, so my main one is, I go to school, I do college, and then I think the biggest one that I enjoy doing is like videography and photography. I like making videos, shooting photos and stuff like that. I definitely want to pursue a career in it after BMX, and maybe even alongside BMX, depending on how time goes. So that's really the main one. I really like doing that, and I do a lot of that in my spare time.
With that, do you do like the editing yourself, or you just like to be the camera guy, just right behind the camera?
I do both of it. So I like filming and then doing the edits. And I think it's nice doing both of them, because then you can film like with a purpose, and like you can envision something, and then you can do the exact edit you want to do with it. So it's nice to film my own stuff and then do my own little edits with it, because a lot of times there's stuff that I put in that even most people won't catch with their eye, but I always know it's there. It's kind of a cool little thing to see.
Indeed.
The phrase "you got poked," where did that come from?
So that actually goes back to, I want to say, October of 2020. We did this little pro-am in Michigan, and I passed Johnny Vance, and it actually wasn't even in a turn. I just like kind of high-load him and then drag raced him to the finish, and he put in an Instagram post, and he said, "I got poked," and then like everyone kind of caught on to that, and I thought it was pretty funny. And then I had just recently got my license, so I made my license plate Polk, and then it kind of caught on, I want to say more towards the end of 2021, so it kind of took a while to like really get traction, and then definitely in 2022, so.
Got you.
This year. Are you feeling any other pressure to repeat this year, though?
Not exactly. There's a lot of people that, say stuff about it, but I don't know. I try not to let people determine how I feel, so I know my main focus is to get in the World Cup finals and get some podiums, so that's really my main goal. And then just win as many nationals as I can, win the big ones.
All right. Shannon?
Is there one race that you can remember that you wish you can go back and repeat?
Yeah. I've got plenty of them that I would definitely go back and redo and change something. Is that what you're asking? Like change something in it?
Yeah.
I think definitely Colombia. it was 2 back-to-back World Cup weekends, so there were 4 events. And the first day I was in a transfer spot in the semi, and someone went down right in front of me and cleaned me out. So I was pretty sure I was going to make that, and then he went down. So if I could have just slightly went somewhere else, I would have made it. And then on the following weekend, I got passed for the last transfer spot in the semi on last straight, so definitely would have changed something there as well. And then the following day after that one, I was third down the first straight, and I just couldn't get over in time. So, yeah, if I could have just moved over, I might have had a World Cup podium, but it's all good. You just learn from them, and you move on to the next one. So I'm sure with my gained knowledge, I'll do better this year's World Cups.
Yeah, there you go.
So where is this World Cup going to be at?
Yeah, so there are 10 rounds this year, so that's 5 different weekends. The first one is in Turkey, and then the second one is in Papendal, and then we'll go to Worlds in August, and then we have there's 2 back-to-back weekends in Argentina in October, and I believe I'm missing one. There's one more I'm missing.
Do you get to? That's all right. Do you get to explore when you get out there, like enjoy the land and soak up the culture, like when you're in a whole different other country, like, or are you just like, I gotta just stay in my hotel and focus on this race?
Yeah, it's pretty cool because I traveled all of them with the USA Cycling national team, and they do kind of promote like staying in your room and staying off your feet as much as you can. But like in Scotland, we went and explored this castle, and we did a little bit of sightseeing. And then in Colombia, we went to these salt mines, which was really cool. So even though they try to keep us off our feet, we still do go see some cool stuff. And it's really cool because we're there, so we might as well go see something. So I really like it. And then in France for Worlds, we went to Paris and looked at the Eiffel Tower and all that stuff.
Nice.
So it's been cool seeing like one cool thing at each place.
When you head up into a national,
teams
you
help
only
cover
take 1 or
any
2
of these
bikes?
expenses for any of this traveling?
So both bikes through my team, and I usually take both bikes to the World Cup events because you don't want to go that far across the world to have a bike break and then your race is done. So I take both there, and I took both to Grands. But yeah, they pay for a little bit. My factory team is more with the U.S. races for the like nationals, and then I have the USA Cycling that helps me pay a bit for the international events.
Got you. So if you want to do these extra races, you're kind of all off on your own to pay for them, pretty much, right?
A little bit. I don't know. Usually it's just the cycling stuff that's a little more difficult because last year I was on the national team, so they paid for my whole international trips. And then the U.S. stuff, I just pay for traveling, really. But this year, I haven't been notified yet that I'm on the national team, so I wouldn't expect that. I didn't meet criteria, so hopefully get back into that this year.
Okay.
In your class right now, the 17 to 20, who do you feel is the one where you got to keep your eye out for? Like, this is the person that gives me the most trouble.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say because I don't exactly know who all went pro, but I know a few of the guys did. In Vegas, there was this Dutch kid that was there. He was really quick. And then Cutter Williams is really quick. Brody Cole was there, but I'm not sure what his plans are, if he's going pro or not. But he was amateur there. And yeah, those are the main 3 really in Vegas that were really fast. And then there's some more foreigners that come over, so obviously they're going to be quick.
Okay.
And why do you say obviously?
Usually they don't go that far to not be fast, so usually if they're foreign, they're pretty quick.
I got you.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite food to eat?
My favorite food is probably Panda Express orange chicken, or I like pasta, so like fettuccine alfredo. I really like that.
Oh, that's good too.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are my 2.
All right.
What about favorite movie?
Ooh, favorite movie. I actually don't watch a lot of movies, but I really enjoyed Eddie the Eagle. I've seen that one twice. That was a pretty good one. It was about a ski jumper who went to the Olympics for Great Britain, and he was the first. I think he was the first Olympian to go for their country for ski jumping. So the whole story was pretty cool. I really liked that one.
Okay. Now, what about music? What kind of music are you into?
So I listen to like a lot of different stuff. My main one is probably metal, and then alongside that is like EDM, like future bass or like trap. So they're pretty opposites, but I like both those. And then like I listen to pop, some older rock, a little bit of rap, some of that stuff. So kind of everything, country even. I've been getting into country a little bit. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay. Have you been to a music concert?
Indiana. Where did you move from?
So I moved to Indiana from California. I was born and raised there until I was 14.
Okay.
Well, 13, almost 14. That's where my family's from, and where most of my family's from.
Okay.
So we moved over here around that time, right before high school.
Okay.
Did you move out there to pursue the BMX?
So we actually moved out here for my dad. He got his like dream job here. He's an engine builder for Vance and Hines. And it just so happened that Marion University was very close. So I was planning on going there, and I just recently transferred to a different online school. But it's been good. The weather is a little iffy. It's definitely not as good as California is, but I think the people that are here are much better than over there. So I've enjoyed it.
Okay. I was going to say you probably find your way out towards Florida, where everybody else usually goes.
Yeah, Florida is a big one. I have a lot of people I know there. I would say it's better for racing over here, because even though the weather's not as good, California is almost a little isolated, because half of it's just surrounded by water. So at least here I have nationals on this side, up here, down here, kind of all around.
Right.
So California, it's like you have 3 nationals within 12 hours. But here I can go quite a bit.
True. Right.
So earlier I asked you about racing mountain bikes, and you said it messed you up on your BMX bike. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so in 2021, I did the mountain bike season, which is like September, mainly October. And once the whole season was over, I went to Houston for the last national of the year. And my leg speed was just way off, and it was like pretty slow because you don't pedal that fast on a mountain bike because you can shift. So it kind of messed me up for a while, and even my times from mountain bike season until even after Grands, my like gait times were slower. So it wasn't that great for confidence going into Grands, knowing I wasn't as fast as I should be, but I still ended up winning Grands in 2021. So I'm glad it didn't mess me up too much, but it definitely set me back a little bit for like Houston and for some of my preparation.
Okay.
Who's your if you could race anybody in their prime, who would you choose to line up against?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I kind of want to race Maris, because he kind of started, or he like retired kind of towards the beginning of my like knowledge of that kind of era of pros, and I really liked the way he rode, and I liked the way he did gates, and like just his overall, the vibe around him. So I'd like to race him, and obviously he has 2 gold medals. He's a pretty bad dude, so I'd like to race him. Yeah, I think I'd say Maris.
Okay. Shannon?
Do you remember who your first sponsor was?
I would say my first like team, like local team, would have been Glubico, but like my first sponsor, I think I would say it's 6D. It was kind of like a family deal because my dad knows one of the owners of 6D, which I'm still with to this day. So that's been a really good relationship. But I think my first like personal, like just me deal would be Atlas Brace, which I still have them as well. So I think we've been partners for close to 3 years now. So both of those have been really good. And I'm glad I have those two. They're amazing companies.
I was going to say, yeah, I read a lot about the 6D helmets and the technology and the testing that goes in behind them. And like that, they sold me when I started reading into it, and I was just like, man, Now, I'm sure a lot of helmet companies probably do some sort of stuff like that, but to put it out there for you to see, like what goes into how they build their helmets, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, they have really good technology, and they like won the NFL like helmet challenge. So it's clear that they have one of the best technologies you can get, and I think safety for your head especially is something that can't be stressed enough. So it's super good that they're actually putting some stuff out there and like giving the details and the data and all that stuff. So
all right.
I think I'm good, bro. You stole a couple of my questions. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate that.
yeah, no worries.
Well, I was gonna ask you if you could change any rules that are in the rule books right now. What rule would you change?
All right, I think that's a good question. I would probably change the 30-foot rule. I think it almost makes it more dangerous sometimes. Like at Grands, for example, that was a big one where I thought about it. The first straight was so short to where if they're making us stay straight 30 feet and then having to get over, we're going to have to cut over harder than if you were to just do it straight out of the gate. And if you're cutting over straight out of the gate, if you do take someone out, you're going to be barely moving. Whereas if you're 30 feet out, you're going to be moving much faster. So I think that might be one. And I think maybe another one, which I don't know if this really counts as a rule, but I think all gates should be so fast where you can't hit them. I think it should be like a reaction time.
It's on that, bro. And I'm not even that fast, but I've done hit a couple of gates, so I
that's
you.
my least favorite thing BMX is a slow gate. So, yeah.
So how did you deal with the gate that used to show up at Grands for the last couple of decades before they started running this new gate? Wasn't that gate like this is my first year at Grands, so I don't know the last gate. But I've ran on gates like that, and they're just super freaking slow, bro.
I actually didn't find the Grands gate to be that slow. It was definitely on the slower side, so I would just have to lean back a little bit. But there's some gates where I have to like mess up my whole gate form just so I don't hit it. But usually the Grands gate wasn't slow enough to where I had to really do that. But I would definitely have to lean back a little bit.
Did you like this year's gate better?
I loved it. It's so good. They should put it at every track. Like, I think it should be that way. Like in track running, they shoot the gun, you can go as fast as you want. You don't have to worry about going too fast. Like, I don't think it should be a thing, but.
Let me just ask you, during practice, I've seen a few guys, right? They were trying to line their tire up on the side of the paddle as close to the edge as possible, and trying to like kind of put their tire around the paddle and in front before the paddle even went down. Have you seen that before?
I mean, I've seen people talk about it, but in reality, the gate's so fast by itself, you kind of can't go around it, because if you try to, you're just going to be behind the gate anyways. And even if you do happen to like hit the gate, it's springy, so like you're just going to go right through it. I did it in one of my videos, and people thought I was going around it, but at the Louisiana National, it was just slippery on the middle, so I lined up to the side so it'd be a bit grippier where no one goes. But I don't know, it's pretty fast regardless, so it's not an issue for me.
Gotcha.
Do you change your gears when you're going from indoor to outdoor?
I usually don't. I just leave it how I normally run it, because that's just what you're used to. But Vegas was something else this year, so I went down a little bit because they put the roller, like literally the 30-foot line was on the roller. So you got 2 full pedals, and then you had to hit a roller, which slows you down. So I geared down a bit for that one so I could get a little more speed going into that roller.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would be, if you get to choose your dream area for vacation, where would you want to take a vacation to?
That's another good question. I guess it kind of depends on what I'm feeling, because I think like Switzerland is super cool. I know like the World Cycling Center, that area looks crazy, like the mountains, and it's like super beautiful there. So I'd say somewhere over there. Iceland looks really cool when they have the Northern Lights. Alaska's pretty cool with like the snow. Like if you were to get a cabin, I think that'd be like a really cool place to go. And then like I really like North Carolina. That's my favorite state. Florida's always cool. Yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of options. It's crazy.
It's all right.
I don't know. Did you know that's where we are?
Yeah, I think I knew that. Somewhere around there.
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it over there.
There's okay.
Cool.
If what was I gonna say? So if you got to choose, so you got to choose your vacation, or whatever. Would you take your bike with you, or would you just be like, this is just me, chill mode?
I think I would take my bike. Yeah, I think if I'm gonna be somewhere, I might as well at least ride some of the tracks, even if I wasn't like training, but at least ride some tracks because you're only there for a little bit. So ride it while you can. And I enjoy riding my bike, so
No
it would
doubt.
make an even better vacation.
Okay.
Did you ever race cruiser?
No, definitely not. I wouldn't race cruiser. I don't know. If they did like the pro cruiser thing, I would, but there's just like no end goal in it. I think it's good for people that want to race it and aren't like trying to race competitively, but to have two different bikes that are set up completely different, it's just gonna mess you up going back to the other one. So I raced it like for a couple pro-am things that were only for cruisers, just make some money, but that's it.
One of the things that I noticed, seeing you at a couple of nationals, is you have a pretty big fan base following you. To where I see a lot of kids every time they walk by, they always want to stop and be like, "Hey Drew,
Yeah.
hey Drew," and you just like, you know, and you always take the time to stop and talk to them. But what does that feel like to you when you're on that you're there, you're not really like as a pro yet, but they're already seeing you as like in their eyes somebody that's like, oh my god, this dude's amazing, I gotta talk.
Yeah, I think it's super special because a lot of people don't ever get that opportunity, and I know some people, like some of the pros, get annoyed when it happens to them because, I mean, I get it, they're trying to do their job, but you should be like really thankful for it, and I feel like I have a big privilege to have that and to have so many people that like support me. So I really like it, and I always take the time to stop and talk to the kids because I was one of those kids once with the pros. I know how it feels, and to get like blown off by your favorite pro or racer, it's not a good feeling. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, they have the same opportunities I do. They could always become me too. So I want to give them that recognition that they could possibly give to someone else. And yeah, I really like it. I love all that. So I never tell people not to come up to me. It's super cool.
I could tell when we were at Grands, there was a few kids that approached you, man, and you just had a big smile on your face just like they did. You know, it was just the coolest thing to witness.
Yeah,
you know?
and I try to show them that same, like, excitement. Like, it's cool. Like, when people come up to you and they know who you are, like, it's a cool feeling. So it's never not a good thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes me feel a little bad that I'm not pro yet because everyone wants to be like, well, it's my favorite pro, but technically I'm not a pro. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm obligated to be, but I'll be pro soon enough for that.
There you go. Are you excited for it, or nervous for it, or you just feel like it's just another step towards your goal, your main goal?
Yeah, I think both ways. It is just another step, but at the same time, it'll be nice to get out of something I've been doing for literally my whole career. I've been an expert for, I don't even know, 10 years. So it'll be nice to join like a new class and kind of be an underdog again, and then kind of work your way up, because at least then when you make those steps, even though they might not seem crazy, it'll give you that satisfaction of like, okay, I'm making a step in the right direction, and then kind of go through the whole thing again instead of just being like, well, I should win, and then if you don't win, you get super bummed out. So it'll be nice to have those steps again.
Okay.
You get nervous when you line up on the gate still?
Yeah, definitely. I think even like for state races, I'll still get nervous. Like, I don't know, it's just the racing mentality, I think. And I think it's a good thing. If you're not nervous, then you just don't care. So it's good to be nervous.
Okay. I was going to say, what about, so what do you run your tire pressure at?
I run them pretty hard. I think I set them at 90. But anywhere from like 80 to 90 is usually what I keep them at. Maybe if it's a super slip track, I'll go down to 75, 70, but I try to keep them harder because the harder they are, the faster they roll. So,
What's your favorite track?
my favorite track's Rock Hill. I definitely want to. I want to try to move into that neighborhood right there. I think that'd be so sick. Especially with the new rebuild, I really like the third straight, the fourth straight. I like having a berm gap. And I think North Carolina is just my favorite place in general. It's like super pretty there. Like, so Eastern Tennessee and like North Carolina, I love all that. So to have both of those combined is super cool. Yeah, I just love that track. I don't know. Anytime I watch videos from there, it's just like I get a happy feeling. So I would say Rock Hill.
Okay. What track is the most difficult for you?
Most difficult, I would say. So we raced this track in Scotland last year for the World Cup, which is actually where they're having Worlds this year. And it was so difficult that even like the most skilled people were crashing on it. Like in the elite men class, they had 6 out of 8 guys crash in the final. So it was a crazy hard track. And I think they're changing it a bit before Worlds, so it won't be as bad. But that track was so technical, it like blew all the Americans out of the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Shannon, do you have anything else?
I think I'm good, man.
All right.
All right. So did you ever get to a point when you were riding, you were like, let me take my decals off? I'm just asking random questions at this point. Because there's certain things that I just want to know. Did you ever just look at your frame and you're like, I'm going to pull these decals off? Like,
I guess the closest thing I'd have to that was when I was on Hyper, and they didn't have my size frame, so we just built up another frame. And then it wasn't a Hyper, but it was a different frame, and we powder coated it and then put stickers on it. So, I mean, it kind of in a sense, like taking off like I was on different bikes, but I don't know. Not really.
Okay. So you're building your new bike right now. Are you transferring all your parts, or is there certain parts where you're like, no matter what I ride, I'm taking these cranks, taking these bars?
I'm transferring most of it. I'm trying out a new bar setup, so they're a little bit different sizes. But most of it's going to be the same. I don't think anything's going to be different, really.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, what size cranks and bars do you run? If you
Currently, I'm on 8-inch bars and 175 cranks, but I'm looking to go a little smaller, try them out, see how times are. A little bit of testing.
So would you say 175s and I'm asking both of you guys, would you say 175s are long for something that's your guys' height? Or is that average?
It's kind of like a standard. I think 175 is kind of like standard size that most people run. It is a little bit on the longer side, I would say, but I mean, there's people my height that run 180s, so I mean, could be longer, but I don't know. I want to try going a little shorter, see how it feels.
Because I run 180s right now, but everyone, when I say that, people are like, "Yeah, you're old school." And I'm like,
yeah, longer cranks is definitely an older thing, and it seems to just be getting shorter and shorter. But I don't know. Times don't lie, so you just gotta test them out.
Okay. Well, like I said, I guess we're good here. I got everything that we needed on our end, and we appreciate the time that you gave with us.
Of course.
And hopefully we'll see you soon. What's going to be the next event that you show up to?
Yeah.
Hey, bro. This changed my life, bro. I get free track time, free bike parts, all that now. I walk around with this all the time,
That's
man.
so sick. My next race is definitely Houston. Well, I'm for sure going to Houston, but I don't know if that's the next one. I might possibly go to Virginia, but I'll for sure be in Houston.
Okay. So we might see you at Blue
Maybe,
Ridge.
yeah, we'll see.
Because you raced that last year, correct?
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's just I'm a little beat up still from Vegas, so we'll see if I'm before then. But if not, I can just train through it and get ready for Houston because that's a big race.
Okay.
All right, one last question that I need to know. When you race indoor tracks, do you try to stay out of the facility as much as possible? Because of all the dirt and the dust?
Yeah, at Grands I definitely did. In 2018, I got like the stomach flu on Sunday, so we kind of learned from that point, like try to stay out of the building as much as you can and away from people. 2021, I got COVID on race day, so even though I tried to stay out of the building, it still kind of caught me. But it's nice to get fresh air and kind of stay outside, but I don't know. I feel like at some point you can't really escape any sicknesses, so kind of just have to get lucky with it. This year I stayed out of the building a little bit, but kind of just enjoyed it all and talked to people I wanted to. And I got lucky with it. Didn't have any problems this year.
Who's your favorite vet from?
Man, that's a hard one. I really like Barry and like the videos he does, and he's went to some of the World Cups with us. So like talking to him a bit, I really like him. And then another one I met before Grands was Alan Hudson. He's a really cool dude. I've never gotten to talk to him before, but yeah, he's super humble, really good guy, and super quick. And then I've talked to Mosquito a little bit. He's pretty cool as well. So all of them have a pretty good personality. I like talking to them.
Okay. Well, I think I actually just heard Nick Long's heartbreak.
Nick Long.
In the middle of that.
I honestly completely forget that he's even in Vet Pro. Like, he's out there throwing on the flat pedals. And, I mean, at the Grands, he raised so much money for us. Obviously, I don't even know how I forgot him.
Yeah.
He's like a family friend.
We tell him. Oh, yeah, we tell him. We gonna tell him.
Yeah, no, you can't go wrong with Nick. He's a crazy good dude. He had my back in Vegas. He was a really good guy. So yeah, I'm gonna have to throw Nick in there as well. He's awesome. I don't know. I just completely forgot about him. He's on his flat pedal having fun out there. So.
Dude, he's definitely bringing the show. Him and Dustin Jacobs. I love watching him too. He did the flip and everything. I'm like, he's out there flipping and stuff. Like, that's dope.
Crazy. Yeah, a lot of those Vet Pro guys are really cool.
So, okay, well, like I said, I guess we're good. We got everything we needed, and I'll shoot you a copy of all this when we're all done so you can check it out before we release it. And thank you for your time, bro.
Yeah, thank you guys for letting me come on.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Have a good day.
You coming through.
See you guys soon.
All right, bye.
All right, man. Take care.